The last few days of 2024 were pretty special. I spent them largely being a tourist in my own city. There's nothing quite like New York City at Christmas time. One of my favorite moments was going up to the Bronx to the New York Botanical Gardens annual train show. There's something about seeing all those miniature trains from various points of life and from various transitions in their journey, and just watching them slide by all these miniature New York City landmarks interpreted in whatever version the current artist felt like doing. This is one of my favorite things to do, and I highly recommend everyone does it if they get a chance. Seeing these works of art nestled between the most incredible flora, including this insane philodendron Dean McDowell that made me confident in my decision to have no more crawlers in my apartment, was probably my favorite thing that I did towards the end of last year. Rounding out the year at the New York Botanical Garden is one of my favorite traditions, and hopefully I'll keep doing it in years to come. If you haven't had a chance to get there, I highly recommend it. They actually have all kinds of shows all year round. I'm going to be checking some more out in the spring, so, stay tuned, and if you have any ideas, just, pop it in the comments below. Welcome back to the channel. It's the day before Thanksgiving. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and yeah, I'm not ready. I haven't done any shopping. Well, actually, scratch that. I've ordered the main meal, so half the battle is won. I've been really busy the last few weeks, just kind of recovering from all my traveling, and just work has been absolutely manic. So it's kind of been difficult, actually, just kind of pulling myself together and getting back on track. The plants are doing okay, though. Plants are doing okay. They survived my travels, so that's nice. I'm just sort of preparing for the holiday season, and it's been nice. At the weekend, we went to a Friendsgiving, and what was super cool actually about it was my friend decided to put this spin on it, where we did a potluck, and instead of bringing traditional Thanksgiving foods, everyone had to bring something that comforted them from their childhood. So a childhood comfort food, which I thought was a really, really cute idea. There was mac and cheese, there were meatballs. We're quite an international crowd, so it was quite nice to see the comfort food from everyone's childhood. So, my German friend had some applesauce and some schnitzel, and my Sri Lankan friend had some dal and some rice, and yeah, it was just really lovely. I brought Nigerian meat pies, which I'm sure my family members would say, why is that your comfort food? Because people who know me know that my true comfort food is like fried plantains with maybe a little bit of jollof rice on the side. But I knew that this crowd, jollof rice is probably going to be too spicy for them. I don't feel like fried plantains travel that well. I don't like them cold. So since it wasn't at my house, I just felt like that wasn't the ideal thing to make, because I just feel like if you're going to eat fried plantains, you want them to be fresh. So I went with Nigerian meat pies because when I was younger, my grandmother she had a supermarket in Lagos, and she had a bakery right outside of it, and whenever I'd be on summer holidays from school, I'd rock up to the bakery and sit down and stuff my face with meat pies. It's like a core childhood memory. So yeah, it was good. I made meat pies. They went over really, really well. And I don't know, I think I'm just cooked out. So for Thanksgiving, we're going to do your traditional American dishes, but I'm not cooking them. Even though I love cooking, there just hasn't been time to get it together. So I've ordered from Fresh Direct. We'll see. I've done this before. I've ordered from Fresh Direct. I've ordered from Whole Foods. I have my thoughts on both of those meal services for Thanksgiving, but whatever. I'm probably going to make some of my own sides because I don't really like the Fresh Direct ones. Sorry, they're just okay. So I'll probably make some of my own sides. I'll make the dessert because my kid loves an apple cake, obviously. And I'll probably try to come up with, I don't know, some nice drinks. It'll be fun. It'll be cool. So in anticipation of hosting people, I'm doing some cleaning and some bits and pieces around the house. So this is my life in New York City, but maybe the more inside portion of it, because thanks to the holidays, we're mostly inside. So aside from Thanksgiving-y stuff, I've actually been sort of thinking through my plant parenthood lately, and I decided to be a little bit more intentional with my plants, with how I grow them, with how many I have, with, where I place them in the apartment. So I'm actually getting started with that. A big part of that is deciding not to hold on to plants that I don't absolutely love. There's quite a few in here that I don't know. You know, when you just go through the motions of something, like you have them because you have them. Not because you love them so much, but because you just happen to have them. I'm thinking I'm gonna slowly but surely remove the ones that are just okay. There are one or two that I can probably send to my office, and then the rest, I'm just going to be thinking about how I style them. I used to be really big into matching the plants with the perfect pot, and I haven't done that in a while. I think it's because there are just so many that getting that perfect match becomes overwhelming or difficult. I'm very picky about where I buy my pots as well, so yeah, I have champagne taste, and that's not the budget that we're working with. So some of them do not have the pots that I would desire for them, or some of them are just in pots that are now too small. Like I bought a nice pot, but then when I repot the plant, it's just too big for that. So I've got some work to do on that front, haven't I? So I thought today we could start by watering, as I'm always doing, right? I feel like all I do is water plants, but also as I'm going, like seeing what things need and just ditching, maybe getting rid of one or two. I'm gonna ease into this. Getting rid of one or two that I sort of maybe don't really want anymore, those can go. There are a couple that I'll probably send to friends, and one or two that I will move downstairs, maybe into the building's lobby. But yeah, I'm gonna try to go around the whole space and see what I can work on, and that's what we'll do right now today. I honestly don't love this whole area. It's just like a big jumbled mess. Like there's some stuff obviously that I could tidy and put away, but I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. Like for example, this Hoya, I think I just don't care for it. Hoya croniana black, but looking at it, I think it might have flat mites or something, because it's yellowing and I see all these dots all over it. I also, I don't really care about it. Let's take a better look at it. Okay, so here it is, Hoya croniana black. This Hoya flowers like nobody's business. Look here, got some, it just has peduncles all the time. It flowers constantly, which is great, but it obviously isn't doing well. It's actually bone dry, so that's probably why. And I think it has some kind of pest problem anyway, but I just, even if it was in perfect health, even when it was at its best, flowering constantly, one, I just don't like vacuuming all the dead flowers every day, and it is basically every day with this guy. And two, it's just never wowed me. Like I've never looked at it and thought, stunning. And in this new era of my plant journey, I have to say that is definitely going to be the bar that plants have to pass to be in here, because there are just too many beautiful plants out there in the world for me to keep the ones that are mediocre and average, and I don't find that exciting. Okay, that sounds really bad. I'm not saying the plant itself is mediocre and average. Well, I kind of am. I'm not really a Hoya person anyway, but this seals it for me. Like, I just don't like this plant. I don't care about it at all. So I think this is a good time to say goodbye to this. Ordinarily, I would sell it or pass it on, but like, this is not in a condition to be sold. I'm sorry. I would be really embarrassed if I pass this on to someone and they don't have the time or the patience to rehabilitate it to get it to the condition I think it would need to be in to be sold or passed on. So I think I'm just gonna ditch it. I feel terrible. That's got to be done, hasn't it? Goodbye, Hoya croniana black. And then finally, it was time to head out to buy our tree.
You got a tree in November.
In November. We went to Home Depot because even though in years past we bought them from those cute little places on the sidewalk, we quickly learned that at Home Depot, the trees are cheap and the prices rarely change. We like to let the kids pick out the tree every year and we try to do it around sunset. I don't know, it just adds something to the magic. If we close our eyes, I can almost pretend I'm at a tree farm cutting down a tree. But, it's really a Home Depot in Queens. Anyway, this is the tree we decided to go home with. I thought it was perfect, perfect. I'm a sucker for an enormous tree. As we all know, I like to put giant things in my tiny apartment, and the tree is no different. So, whew, I have been so sick. I don't know, like it just kind of hit me out of nowhere, and I've been feeling really, really awful. I'm basically just throwing the tea back and hoping it'll help me feel better. This is like I'm on my second go with these tea bags, and I've just added some lemon just to see if it helps. But yeah, I've just been really, really busy on the go and exhausted. I've not had that much time for my plants, so I'm looking forward to getting stuck in with a little bit of plant care today. Even though I'm not feeling well, I mean, you're never too unwell to do some watering, right? Things are a little hectic in here at the moment. We got our Christmas tree. So let me show you. Here's the tree. I'm 100% a real tree kind of person. I don't know, there's just something about the smell of it that really, really excites me. The only problem is, in addition to being a real tree person, I'm also a massive tree person. Did I mention that there are over 100 plants in this tiny little 2-bedroom apartment? So all those three things make no sense. The tree is basically huge and it's big in the space. So every year when we get this tree, there's sort of this mad dash to scramble around and rearrange things and see where it can fit. And so the armchair is usually back there, and I've pulled it out to make room for the tree. So now it's blocking the whole way and I have to figure out where I'm actually going to put it, because honestly it's not practical to keep it where I've put it, which is right here. As you can see, this makes no sense, because then as soon as people walk into the house, the first thing they see is the back of the chair, and either the kids keep running into it. It's just not practical to have it there. I think for the duration that the tree is in the house, the best place for the armchair to be, and where we've put it in years past, is this corner over here. This area already just needs a huge sort of makeover, if you would. It just doesn't make sense as it is right now. Last year this was so much smaller than this, so I could just shove the chair right up against it, but now this is huge. Beyond the Thai constellation being huge, I just don't like this corner of the apartment. Now, I've been talking a lot recently about how I want to be more intentional with my plant collection. I want to focus on the styling of the plants, on how they look in the space. I want to have them because I want that particular plant. I want to grow them to be the most beautiful specimens they can be, but I also want to showcase them properly in the space. And this whole thing just looks like a mess. It doesn't make any sense. It's just very scraggly and bitty, and the plants that are here, it's just not the vision that I had for the corner. My original plan actually for this corner, don't laugh, I have this anthurium. This is a hybrid of Anthurium warocquianum and waterberryanum, and it doesn't look like much right now because, well, I'm not treating it very well, but also it's battled all sorts, so it looks terrible. But it can look like this. Amazing, right? So my intention actually was to grow this big and just have it in this corner, so that when you walk in, you just see massive, stunning, velvety leaves. But I mean, as I'm sure you can tell, this is a long way away from massive and velvety. That being said, anthuriums will surprise you and they'll grow really quickly. So I want to believe that if I just give this a little bit of TLC, it will take off and I'll start to see what it's capable of, and I can put it in that space. But in the meantime, I have to figure out what to do with everything that's here. Doesn't make sense as is. So there's this alocasia, which is an alocasia scalprum. It is in poor shape from battling all sorts in this corner, but it's also dry as a bone. I will say it's come through all the battles and it's doing a lot better, but I don't really envision a space for this guy here in my apartment. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pot this up in a self-watering pot, and I am going to take it to my office to join my office plants. I usually do not consider alocasias to be good office plants, but this one is pretty resilient. It can take a dry out, and I think putting it in the self-watering pot should help with mitigating some of that, because obviously I'm not at the office all the time to check on it. But yeah, I think this would make a good desk plant, better than, I think I have like something silly like a cast iron plant that I really don't care about there right now. So yeah, I think I'm going to replace that one with this one. So the first thing I'm going to do today is repot this one. The anthurium is going to stay there because they really don't like it when you move them, but I will give it a bigger pot and fresh soil and nutrients that it needs to grow. I'm probably not going to do that today. I'll probably do that, I don't know, later on this weekend. This is a philodendron splendid that has been struggling in this corner for a long time. I'm just going to let it keep struggling. I'll take off the dead leaves, but I actually like what mature splendids look like. So I do want to keep that because I want to have it. So I'm going to figure something out with that one. This is a philodendron. I can't remember the name of it. It's some kind of a philodendron. Now, this plant I feel I should move. I think it doesn't make sense to have this in the same corner with this billy. I think it's just too many. It's too bitty for this corner. What this corner needs is a flare of drama. When you walk in, like when I look at it right now, I just see, a drooping jungle. It's just nothing is punching, nothing is making a statement. So I think I need to put this Thai constellation there, because I think it will make more of an impact as the thing you see when you walk in. My hesitation is around the fact that, again, like everything else in this corner, it has battled spider mites, so it's got some ugly bits which I need to clean up. But I also just think I'm worried that it won't have as much sun in the corner as it has right here. So I think it won't like that as much, because I've had Monstera here in the past and it just leans like crazy. But I also, Thai constellation needs a lot of light. So I'm a little bit concerned about putting it there, but I think it's worth a try. I think I'm just going to try it. If it doesn't like it, I'll just move it back when the Christmas tree is gone and the chair goes back. So I think I'll give it a try for now. The first thing I need to do is maybe find a new home for this one. So yeah, this, in addition to needing a new home, it's a mess. Like it's overgrown, so I'm gonna need to chop it. I'm going to chop it and propagate it. I'll probably chop it, where should I chop it? Maybe like here, or maybe a bit further down to give it some room to grow. Anyway, I'm gonna chop it, and I think I'll move it to the corner of the living room. Before I do that, I should probably just water it. Look, bone dry. So yeah, I'm gonna be working on this one. I think by moving what I have, I've made enough space for this Thai constellation. Its current pot is cement. It's way too big to go up here, so I'm going to have to find a different pot to put it in, but I'm sure I can manage. Okay, so before I put the Monstera there, I'm just gonna cut off the awful, dried, nasty leaves on the Splendid, and I'll probably water the Splendid actually and then put it back. I've left the pot of the Splendid in place because it's going to be going back when it's done being watered, and I found this pot that I'm going to use for the Monstera if it fits. This is one of my this is one of my favorite pots. It's from CB2. It's one of the first plant pots I ever bought actually. I haven't had anything to put in it for a while because the plant that was in here got too big for the space. So this is probably, I think, a nice choice. Put it here. You can see the design of the pot, and there's room in front of it for other plants. It just depends on how well the Monstera takes to the space. So I'm going to put the Monstera in there now, just to check and see if it fits. I do want to water it before I put it away, so I'm not going to leave it there, but I'm just feeling things out. Now, I'm going to move it a little bit because I think it is the right plant for the space, but the problem is that it's crawling. I don't have it on a trellis or anything, so it's a little, it would be nice if it was growing upwards. Let me see if I can try to fix that a little bit. Turn this shower in there. Okay, she's sort of shoved in there, which is kind of annoying because this is the best leaf, this big beautiful one, and I want everyone to see it, and you kind of can't, just given how I've wedged it, but I don't really feel like I had a choice, so it is what it is. The Splendid is going to be on a moss pole behind it, and my hope is that it will grow, beautiful and look good back there. And then now the Monstera hopefully can keep sort of growing upward. She'll probably need some support at some point, but I think this is better than what was going on before. And yeah, I think the idea of moving this one out works. Although, now that I'm looking at it, I might be able to still fit this one back there anyway. So I'm not sure, I'm thinking about it. I also want to bring out my red crystallinum. Let me get it, hold on. So I don't know if you remember this, this video, I repotted it. I think I did that on Instagram though, so here it is. I had to chop off any root raw and then I potted it up and it's doing spectacularly. Look at these little roots, and by the way, look at the color on this. This is a Tezula red crystallinum crossed with luxurians. Look at the color on this leaf. So I just think a plant this stunning should not live in a grow tent in the back. So call me crazy, but I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna shove it out here again, which could be too soon. I wonder if I should wait a bit longer, but the root system looks fairly, not robust, but it looks like it's doing fine. And the trouble with grow tents is, I anyway, often forget the plants that are in there. So having it in there might be doing more harm than good. So I think it's time to bring it out. I'm going to put it over there next to the Monstera Thai constellation, just for now, just to see how it gets on in that corner. Let's see what it looks like. I think it's so cute. It's not really... I love the idea that it's just peeking through. I'm going to reorganize some of these other plants and move things around a bit really so you can actually see it properly. But I think this is so cute like this. I don't know that it's going to stay here long term, just because this is actually probably a plant that's going to get quite big. Same with that Anthurium warocquianum, ex waterberryanum. Those are going to be big boys. So I don't know if there's going to be room for everybody in this corner. And also, I don't know if this is too sunny over here for this plant. I'm not 100% sure yet, so I'm just going to play it by ear and see what happens. If it's too bright here, I'll probably have to move it. I just don't know where I would want to move it to just yet, but it is nice. It is nice looking over there. It's so cute. Now that that's done, I think I want to look at my Philodendron Splendid, which is in a rough way. It's got all these yellow and crispy leaves, which I need to get rid of. And then I think the plant is okay now, right? I think it's healthy now. All the pests are gone, but it just still has damaged leaves. So I'm going to chop off all the damage and then move the plant back to the corner back there where I have it, which is kind of a shame. It seems to be enjoying all the light it has out here right now. But yeah, I'm going to do that, chop that up. Oh. And by the way, this is just supreme neglect on my part, because Splendid is actually a very easygoing plant. So probably a testament to its ease that it's still kicking in spite of how I've sort of mistreated it. And it's got all these little shoots popping up. I think if I just try to do a decent job of maintaining it, it should be fine. The soil is moist, but the pole is actually dry again. Unfortunately, moss poles are pretty sort of high maintenance in terms of keeping them moist, but they're very effective. And I'm hoping that with my new approach to mindfulness, I will actually make the correct amount of time to water my moss poles. But I think this looks really good now. I'm quite happy with it. It's such a beautiful plant. I think it's pest free. It looks okay. I will be keeping an eye on it just to make sure, because, you know, these are just prone to it. They're just prone to it. I'm going to water the pole itself a bit, and then I will put this in the back there, kind of behind the Monstera constellation. The idea is that hopefully it grows a bit bigger and produces a big velvety leaf backdrop for this guy in the back. I think something that released the water a bit more slowly would probably be helpful. I could also cover the moss pole with like plastic wrap. I did consider one of those moss poles with the enclosed backs, but I want this to be tall, big specimen, and I have found that those are not as sturdy as the plant grows larger, so it's just not practical for my intentions for this plant. What would work is if I just watered the pole properly, like I'm supposed to, because this isn't even a plant that is difficult about attaching. Just gotta water it. I'm just giving it a couple of butterfly clips just to help the roots attach to, just to help the roots stay close to, the aerial roots stay close to the moss so that they can attach properly to the pole. And if I can remember to water it, then we're in business. So this corner is coming along. I do still have to repot the Anthurium warocqueanum ex waterberryanum. I need to decide what I'm doing with my big Billy. I'm contemplating cutting it. It's too much for the space and just having it down on the floor there. I don't know. I'm thinking about bringing my clarinervium from the bedroom out here, just to put it in the corner here. This whole corner is going to change. This Hoya seems quite happy. It sits on the windowsill. I think it's okay. I don't know. I am not well versed in Hoya, so I do not know what exactly I'm looking for. It does not seem unhappy, so I am going to assume that it is fine until it lets me know otherwise. That's it for now. I think the next logical step is to get the clarinervium out here, maybe clean it up a bit. Now this is a location that I have a lot of trouble with. This is my Anthurium clarinervium, and it is just crazy and wild, and next to it is an Anthurium Forgetii ex magnificum, but you wouldn't even know because the clarinervium is just, it's so jungly and it's just occupying the entire space. I really want to fix this, so I'm thinking about taking the clarinervium to the living room, which I think would be more appropriate, and just leaving the Forgetii ex magnificum and the pallidiflorum here to occupy the space. Let's see if that works. I can already breathe a lot better. Like, it's not perfect. There's still a lot to figure out. I think it already looks much better. What do we think about that? Or should I give them some space? I think that's so much better. It's not perfect. I need to do something. I think the pallidiflorum needs a different location, or it needs something. I don't know what. Let me try turning it facing forward. Will that help? If the pallidiflorum is forward facing, it might be less like awful looking and obnoxious. Is it better or worse? I'm not sure if that's better or worse. The pallidiflorum is just crazy. It's too big for the space. I need to figure out where I'm going to grow it, because it ain't here. It just doesn't make sense, you know? I think it needs its own top shelf situation somewhere, but I haven't identified where the best place to put it is just yet. I'm working on it. But for now, this is better than what was happening before, so I'm gonna leave it like this for now. I think it's nice to actually be able to see that plant, so that's good. Here we go. Here's the clarinervium. I just brought it in from my bedroom, and as you can see, it needs an insane amount of work. I'm gonna clean it up, spray it, water it, and put it with its friends. I'm gonna cut off everything that looks awful, fertilize it. You know, I don't know what's going on with this plant, but it looks terrible. So I'm gonna sort it out. I'm gonna first start by chopping off all the brown bad inflows and all the leaves that have become trashed, which honestly is so many of them. I don't know why I let it get bone dry as well. Needs water.